Welcome to Wonders and Miracles podcast, where we celebrate miraculous moments in everyday lives. I'm Liza Lawrence. I'm glad to have you join me as we celebrate wonders and miracles together. All right, well, I'm here today with Amanda, who's going to share a couple stories about her journey with her niece, Sarah, who was in a car accident. And the first miracle was she did not die, but the experiences that she had with her, and then also putting on a benefit concert for her niece and the miracles that she saw in putting this concert on. Amanda, I'm grateful to have you on to share. So go ahead and tell us some of the background of what this concert was about and the miracles that you saw putting this together.
Okay, thank you so much for having me. This concert was a response to my niece's tragic accident. And just for some background there, on July 30th of this year, 2020, she was in a car with 3 other friends, and they were hit by a drunk driver in a canyon. So there was nowhere for them to turn. There was nowhere for them to go. It was either the mountain or the car, and this car hit them head on. And Sarah was actually in the rear passenger seat and had a terrible seatbelt injury. Miracle number 1 was the fact that she did not die in the car, which we heard from the emergency personnel that usually with this injury, they don't make it to the hospital, but Sarah made it to the hospital. And they gave her tons of blood and then flew her to the Children's Hospital in Salt Lake City. They patched what they needed to patch, and they had to first stop the bleeding internally in her intestines. So they had to remove about 30% of her intestines. And then there was a leak in her aorta, and so she lost the blood supply to her legs, and they ended up having to amputate both of her legs. They realized within that first week that her gluteal muscles might need to be taken. If they had to take out those gluteal muscles, she would not survive past 90 days. And so we sent out our prayer warriors, please pray for Sarah, save Sarah's butt. Save Sarah's butt. Like, seriously, when do you ever pray for somebody's butt? But please let her keep those gluteal muscles. And the doctors went into surgery, and right before surgery, they said to her parents, we're going to have to take these gluteal muscles. Well, they went in there and they didn't have to take any. That was like, for us, for our family, we had just been in total agony, just agony. And the fact that they didn't have to take her muscles knew that we got to keep Sarah. These miracles just kept coming. They kept coming. And we're just like, Sarah's supposed to be here. Sarah, and she is this fighter spirit, and she's just this incredibly positive and good person. And through this whole ordeal, she has just shown incredible faith, incredible resilience. And for a 17-year-old girl, that's amazing. So the community, right after her accident, within 2 days, they were already organizing bake sales. People were making t-shirts and bracelets just to support the family. There was a GoFundMe, and everybody was sending that out on social media. So the community really started to rally around Sarah and her family. And we know that she's going to not only have like extensive medical bills, but being in the family, I know that they're going to need to change their house. They're going to need to remodel, and they're going to need to get new cars. They're going to need to have all these new accommodations to pay for. And so I said to my husband, Jake, we're in an a cappella group called Vocalocity. And I said to Jake, I'm like, we should do a benefit concert for Sarah. That would be so cool. I wonder if we even can with COVID going on around us. We're like, well, let's just look into it.
And where did that idea come from, do you feel like? Was it inspired, or was it just an idea?
Well, I feel like it was just an idea, but I have a story, because it was just an idea, and we had kicked it around for a week, maybe 2 weeks. We were just like, oh yeah, we should do that. But then one day I was getting ready in my room, and I came out of my bathroom, and I had this moment, and I felt like the thought in my head was, Amanda, if you don't do this, it won't happen. It's on you. Because I mean, my husband works full time. I'm super invested because Sarah's my niece and I really want to make it happen. That was my miracle moment where I knew that if it was going to happen, it was on me. And right then and there, I'm like, I'm just going to do it then. I'm going to do it. And I sat on my bed and I got out my phone and I opened up Instagram and I invited this artist named Alex Boye, who's Utah famous, but he's also been on America's Got Talent. So he's pretty well known. He has millions of views on YouTube. And he's just this fantastic person, just such an entertainer, just the coolest guy. There's a side story with Alex Boye. Right at the beginning of COVID, like his living is through performing. And when COVID happened and he had all of his performances canceled, he did this really cool thing where he's like, nominate somebody and I'll go take a concert to their driveway. So he picked like maybe a dozen people. He drove to their house and like brought out his little microphone and speaker and would sing to this family in their driveway. And so my mom at the time, this was in April, my mom was dying of cancer. And a friend of ours contacted Alex Boye, heard he was doing this, and nominated my mom. So Alex, he came and sang for my mom and our whole family in my mom's driveway. She loved music. She loved concerts. That was like her favorite thing. That was her thing, going to concerts. And so the fact that she could have like one final concert, and he sang this song, When Life Gives You Lemons, Make Lemonade, and gave her this shirt with this big lemon on it. And it says life, like life, period, with this big lemon on it. And she wore that till she died, which was 5 days later, actually.
Oh, what a sweet story.
So Alex Boye holds a special place in our hearts because he came and sang to my mom, gave her this t-shirt that just means so much to our family. He's just such an awesome person. So we reached out to him and he immediately responded right away. I've heard of Sarah. I am in. I want to do this.
Wow.
So cool. I was so excited. So excited. Then just kind of along the way, we're like, well, we should maybe let's think about somebody else who could sing with us. We'd love to have like one other artist or person. And I just happened to be on Instagram and somebody posted a video of Mat and Savanna Shaw, who are kind of new in the music scene. It's a father-daughter duet. They had also heard about Sarah. So I just reached out to them, asked them. I booked the event center and everything just kind of started falling into place. Like my husband, I couldn't have done it without him. He was just like, oh, we need to get the lighting. We need to get sponsors. We need to get, and I'm like, oh, is it going to be that much work? I'm like, okay. So we did. We started calling local businesses. We put it out on Facebook. Does anybody want to contribute? And we had this huge, overwhelming, amazing community response. We got sponsors. We had things donated. Just the community support was amazing. And it's amazing how you plan something that you realize later, it's not really my plan. It wasn't really my plan. It wasn't my husband's plan. We were just kind of these tools being used to create this benefit. And I think when it's all said and done, it's a benefit concert. And we started out to raise money for my sister's family and my niece, Sarah. When all was said and done, it benefited everybody. Everybody who came, everybody who watched on YouTube. We streamed it live for anybody who couldn't come or didn't want to come because of COVID. But also the artists, and bringing it back to this Alex Boye thing. This was pretty amazing. We gave the shirt to Sarah. It stayed in my mom's closet and we're like, who's going to get that shirt? We all wanted that shirt. We're just like, who's going to get that shirt? And this happened to Sarah. There are 7 sisters in my family, and all of us just kind of instinctively knew that that shirt should be Sarah's. And so Sarah, for the benefit concert, I asked her to just record herself, saying a message to the audience. And she recorded this message in this life shirt. When Alex Boye saw that, he was watching it. And when he saw that, he's like, how does she have that shirt? Where did she get that shirt? And then Sarah explained in her video, you sang to my grandma, and you taught us all that life sometimes throws you some lemons, and you just have to make the most out of it. And he wept, like Alex Boye was weeping over just the miracle and just kind of the full circle for him. I don't think he had really connected at all that he sang to my mom, and now this has happened to her granddaughter, and how much it was all entwined for him and how he's a part of this story too.
Yeah, that's amazing. That really is beautiful. Well, I think that's the miracle that I'm seeing too, is those connections for him, but also that connection in the community. That is so divine. I feel like the more we connect and unify in all that we do, the early prayers, asking for prayers is connection, the community raising money. And I think that's so divinely orchestrated.
Oh, it completely is. And at a time right now when and even our friends and family are being divided and divisive, and it's really ugly out there, this experience has brought a community together. And I'll just say, is when you talk about connection and bringing a community together, this is a little portion that I think is so special. So Sarah is a cheerleader at Clearfield High School. Her cheer team made up a dance for her, and they performed it at every football game. And they taught this dance to all the other cheerleaders in our region. So every cheer team in our whole region, even like tribal schools, the cheerleaders of both teams during halftime come out to the field and do the same dance for
That's
Sarah.
awesome.
It's awesome. It's just been so powerful and so unifying. This tragedy, this senseless, horrific, why? Tragedy. Why? Bad things happen. We're mortals. But when bad things happen, you look for as much good as you possibly can. And so I think in this terrible tragedy, we have seen some really amazing, awesome, good things.
How neat that you can see those. And that's really one of the messages of my podcast is even in the hard times, God is here. If we pay attention, we will notice all those little things that God is working for our good.
Yes.
And in that tragedy, so many good things have happened.
It's true. It's true. It has brought a community together. And I think it shows you how strong you really are. But my sister, who's watching this happen to her daughter, just said, it's amazing because I should be a puddle on the ground. I feel the prayers. I feel them. She's like, I've never had this experience before. And maybe only people who have gone through terrible tragedy like this would know really what that felt like to be carried by people's prayers. But she's like, I feel it. I feel everybody with me. I feel angels. I feel help. I feel like everybody's here with me and like, we can do this. And just praising God all the way. And even in Sarah, she just said, if I can be happy, so can you. If God can bless me in this, he can bless you. And so even darling 17-year-old Sarah, she is looking for the hand of God at any moment she can. And she's finding it, which is the miracle.
It is the miracle.
She is a bright, bright light. She is incredible. We've learned so much from her. And I just think everybody needs to know her. I think everybody needs to know her story. I think everybody needs to see her light because this happened to her for a reason. She's alive for a reason. And we have even seen just on the social posts, just how much of an impact she's making on people that she doesn't even know, that don't even know her. But through this experience and through this tragedy, they're like, what am I complaining about? Seriously, like their lives are changing because of her attitude and perspective.
Yeah, I think that's huge when we can shift our perspective. How did the concert go that night?
It went really smoothly. We followed all the rules. You had to wear a mask. We were able to fit 1,000 people shoulder to shoulder. And I think we sold like 950 tickets, almost a sellout show, but we did the online, you could watch it on YouTube live with the link. And I think we sold over 150 links. We raised over $17,000 for their family. 100% of those ticket proceeds went to the family. So it did a lot of good. And it was just so meant to be.
Yeah.
It went smoothly. We had, every time we needed a helper, like somebody would come to mind. If I needed help with something, something would come to mind. Somebody would, a name, like, oh, maybe they could help. Or I would ask somebody and they would know somebody who could help. Like, it was just, it's amazing how people are miracles. Like, people provide miracles, and God uses us as his army to provide those miracles. They just kept coming around every turn. But we just had people just crawling out of the woodwork to help. Somebody offered to take pictures. Somebody offered to be the ushers. Somebody offered to be the ticket takers. And we just had plenty of help and tons of family support and community support. And it was just a beautiful night and a beautiful moment. There wasn't a dry eye. We had, as the MC, and this was another person I reached out to, her name's Meg Johnson, and she was injured as a young adult. She had a spinal cord injury and is paralyzed partially from the neck down. She has some use of her arms, but we asked her if she would be the MC, and she came out, and she's used to this thing. She does public speaking engagements all the time, and she's just so fun and so funny. And she came out and she just set the whole tone, just talking about God and talking about trials. She's like, I'm different now than I was, but I'm so glad I'm different now. That was another beautiful addition to the concert, because she set the whole tone. Sarah did her video. We had the cheerleaders come out and do their dance. Then we had Mat Savanna Shaw perform, and Vocalocity and Alex Boye. They all performed. But anyway.
Wow, I think that sounds amazing. And as you share that, all the details, I can completely see God orchestrating everything. Like this person, this person, this person. Once again, it's all that connection and that unity. Here's how we bring this together.
It was really beautiful to just see it all come together in such a divine way.
Did you enjoy being the starting point of that idea? Was that amazing?
It felt a little bit heavy. I mean, I'm a mom. I have 5 kids. I have a baby still, like she's not even 1. And so during nap time, here I am on the computer, like emailing people and setting things up. And it took a lot. But I felt so up to it. I don't know. It just came naturally, I guess.
You probably had heavenly support, honestly.
I know I did. And when I say it came naturally, that's what I mean. Like it felt like I was very unlike me to be so on the ball, because I'm usually a procrastinator. But I got everything done like 3 days early. And I'm like, this is awesome. And it didn't feel like a chore. It was just really, really wonderful. And I had somebody reach out to me after and say, you should do another one. Like, you should do another one for this person or this person. And I just thought, well, that would be amazing. I'm kicking around like, what if we did a nonprofit and we put on benefit concerts for people? Because we saw how much it brought the community together.
That's an interesting, perhaps, calling that might be coming to you.
Honestly, when I think about it and when I talk about it, I kind of have chills right now, which tells me that doesn't come from my brain.
Right.
That thought and that idea isn't coming from me. I don't know. Maybe.
That'll be interesting to see.
It'll be interesting to see if this changes my path.
Right.
If it changes my personal path because I've never had such a thrill of seeing the support. People are buying, people are here. They bought tickets. They're here for Sarah. They're here for Sarah. It was so thrilling. And now I'm like, I kind of want to do that again.
Well, how exciting.
The community support, I think, because of the extensive tragedy of her injuries, is maybe more than you would find with just like cancer or other injuries that you see that are more common. But I would hope that I just would love to see communities come together in the face of tragedy and bring something beautiful and good out of it.
Well, that's amazing that you organized all of that, obviously with divine help. What a sweet gift for you to give to Sarah.
Oh, there's another really cool story. After the accident, I mean, it backed up traffic. There's no cell service in that canyon. By some miracle, somebody had a satellite phone down the way. It still took them almost an hour for the ambulance to get through, get them, and then get back to the hospital. It was an hour. And then there were 4 out of the cars just kind of backed up waiting. There were 4 EMTs. Somebody just happened to have a neck brace in their trunk. So one for each kid. There was one for each kid. So there was a nurse or an EMT out each door taking care of.
That's amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah. I love it.
Oh, it's just like, I get chills. I'm like, there was so much divine help. And we talk about people being angels, but I know angels, heavenly angels were there. And my mom is one of them. And I know that she was with Sarah constantly and with my sister through those first traumatic 2 weeks. She had 19 surgeries in 2 weeks to put her insides back together. But I know the connection of the angels here are beautiful and impressive, but the unseen angels is even more impressive. And I know they're there. You can feel when they're there. She had so much help from here and beyond.
And that's sweet. I'm sure you're right that your mother was one of those angels helping.
I know she was. She was.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Well, Amanda, thank you so much for sharing your piece in this whole story and how you were used as an instrument for the Lord in this whole journey of Sarah's.
Thanks for having me. It was really, really special to be able to talk about it in this way, because it happens and then you just don't really talk about it anymore. So thank you. Thank you for allowing me to share it.
Thank you so much for listening to this miracle story. Please subscribe to my channel if you liked it. You can